A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honorable dignitaries, respected faculty members, distinguished industry leaders, esteemed guests, and my fellow students. It is our immense pleasure to welcome you all to yet another inspiring day of RIDE 2026 at MIT World Peace University. What an absolute privilege it is to share this room with so many bright minds and distinguished leaders today.
They say every innovation begins twice, first in imagination and then in reality. Between those two moments lies a journey of curiosity, creativity, countless conversations. Conversations that challenge perspective, spark ideas, and inspire action. And that is exactly what RIDE stands for.
Over the years, RIDE has become more than just an event. It has evolved into a platform where academia meets industry, where ideas meet opportunity, and where young minds get the privilege to learn directly from those shaping the future. I now request the technical team to play the recap video of RIDE 2025.
This is the fourth edition of unique platform for the students to get exposure for research, innovation, design, entrepreneurship.
The entrepreneurial mindset is the next prediction how the new workspace would be. Whether you work for a startup or a corporation, you need to think like an entrepreneur, spotting opportunities, taking calculated risks, owning the outcomes.
Advanced or super specialization does not have much of value in the era of ChatGPT and AI. In AI world, what you need is a range. You should be able to talk about a whole host of topics, talk about a whole host of dimensions, and not be very exclusive or being very, very specific. That's extremely critical for all of you.
But let me tell you, the world will change faster in the next 20 years. I don't think you will be able to foresee today how the world will change in the next 20-25 years with the amount of information that is getting shared around the world.
Which obviously for me it's like a code for let's do it. Let's do it smart. Let's do it well. Let's do it innovative.
RIDE, if you come up with 100 problem statements, 100 into 10 solutions, that will be a great achievement to celebrate, where you can really make it not only a program, not only academic, but truly meaningful, and you will be contributing to the ecosystem.
My dear friends, situation is growing grim, and it is only you people who can bring us hope, who can bring us a ray of hope, जिस पर हम लोगों को भी लगे कि हम जिनके लिए काम कर रहे हैं वो सही में इस देश का वर्तमान है.
Today, we turn our attention to two powerful forces that drive meaningful change: design and entrepreneurship. One teaches us to understand people before creating solutions, and the other gives wings to the solutions to create impact.
Great design isn't just about making something beautiful. It's about making life simpler, more intuitive, more meaningful. True entrepreneurship is never about building a company. It's a conscious refusal to accept the world as it is. When visionary purpose meets relentless execution, a venture ceases to be a mere commercial pursuit and becomes an engine of human progress, transforming ordinary possibilities into cultural momentum and ultimately a lasting impact.
Today's session brings together accomplished designers, visionary entrepreneurs, industry experts, and thought leaders whose journey reminds us that success is never accidental, but designed, built, and earned.
We now request the honorable dignitaries to kindly step forward for the auspicious lamp lighting ceremony.
This is more than just a ritual. It's a moment steeped in energy and hope. As the sacred flames come alive, may it lighten up our minds and inspire us to pursue design and entrepreneurship with empathy and unwavering courage. Can we have a huge round of applause?
Can I get a huge round of applause? Guys? This auspicious movement, can we have another round of applause, please? May I now request the technical team to play the intro video of Ride 2026.
Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University's flagship initiative as Research, Innovation, Design and Entrepreneurship.
It is said that education is the passport for the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today.
We are very sure that this year also, on the similar lines, thousands of students are going to be inspired, motivated to go ahead for their entrepreneurial journeys in the coming years.
As you know, real-world problems are open-ended, ill-structured, necessarily transdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. So our students' innovation journey starts with problems like this through this platform called RIDE. So welcome to RIDE again. Here you will be meeting your seniors, industry experts, innovation experts. We have taken care that this is not another series of lectures for you. Here you are meeting the people who have been there, who have done it.
The problem solving has to happen collectively. It can't happen just by engineering or a liberal art or a fine or an economic faculty, School of Economics faculty. So you all have to come together. So that is a vision, my dear friends.
I completed my ride last year, and some of my key takeaways from ride was the 4 pillars mainly. So we have the 4 pillars of research, innovation, design, and entrepreneurship. So if you were to look at the first 3 of research, innovation, and design, these 3 are extremely important for any business.
I'm really excited about Ride 2026 because this is the first event in the direction of our Mission 2030, which is a startup a day.
Ride is an experience by itself, but I think the expectation is that they got to do something in terms of some kind of a product development, at least an ideation of a product, ideation of a service, ideation of something which would help the larger population.
Ride has always been a platform which has rewarded everybody who takes privilege out of it, who makes initiatives out of it, who uses this platform as an opportunity.
What does Ride actually mean? Ride is the ocean of opportunities.
I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to listen to such great speakers come and tell us about how they've been through their whole journey.
This year, Ride will start from 5th to 8th August 2026 with the theme Insights to Impact, Understanding the World and Changing the World.
If I have to summarize the scope and objective of this program, one of the best is that to bring the best out of you is the outcome and objective of this program.
Ride is a credit-based academic program wherein all second-year UG students will be benefited with the journey of innovation through these all 4 days.
It is a firm belief at MIT World Peace University that we are training students not just to be job seekers but job providers.
Welcome to Ride 2026.
All the best for Ride.
Welcome to RIDE, Ride 2026.
So whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a creative thinker, a future innovator, or simply someone eager to learn, we invite you to listen with curiosity, participate wholeheartedly, and leave today with ideas that inspire tomorrow.
Get ready for an exciting day filled with meaningful conversations, fresh perspective, and inspiring stories. Once again, I welcome you all to Day 2 of Ride 2026. Let's begin with a huge round of applause for everyone present here today.
Let us all rise for the national anthem, national song, sorry.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram. Sujalam, Sufalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shasya Shamalam, Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhra Jyosna Pulakitayamini, Pulla Kusumita Drumadala Shobhini, Suhasini, Sumadhura Bhashini, Sukhadam Varadam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
May I request everyone to remain standing for the World Peace Prayer.
Om Namo Diyadya Veda Pratipadya Jaya Jaya Swasamvedya Atmarupa Devatuti Ganeshu सकलार्थमतिप्रकाशो म्हणे निवृत्तिदासो अवधारी बोधी गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथाः मा गृधः कस्यचिद्धनम्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। सर्वेऽपि सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्। जो शान्तिः अन्तरिक्षशान्तिः पृथिवीशान्तिः आपशान्तिः औषधयशान्तिः वनस्पतयशान्तिः विश्वेदेवाशान्तिः ब्रह्मशान्तिः सर्वशान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Steve Jobs once said, "Design is not just what it looks and feels like. Design is how it works." Every unforgettable product, every seamless experience, every innovation that truly changes lives has one thing in common. It begins with understanding people. Today's first panel explores that exact philosophy.
Our opening discussion is centered around the theme Design Beyond Aesthetics, Shaping Human Experiences. Because in today's world, design goes far beyond colors and visual. It shapes how we learn, interact, and solve problems, and ultimately how we experience the world around us. This discussion promises to offer fresh perspectives on how thoughtful design has become the foundation of innovation across industries.
And now request our honorable dignitaries to make your way to the stage. Mr. Ismail Iqbani sir, Mr. Suyash Lahoti sir, Mr. Amit Inamdar sir, Ms. Dhun Patel ma'am, and Professor Suman Devadulu, kindly grace the stage with your presence.
Joining us today are distinguished leaders whose work reflects the power of design in transforming businesses, startups, and communities.
Our first panelist is Mr. Ismail Akbani, CEO of AIC Mahindra. As a passionate advocate for innovation and startup incubation, he has played a pivotal role in nurturing entrepreneurs and creating ecosystem where ideas flourish into impactful ventures. As a passionate advocate of design thinking, innovation, and entrepreneurial leadership, his role is to create impact and collaboration with founders, academia, industry, and government. He continues to build robust and impactful innovation ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, may we extend a warm welcome to Mr. Ismail Akbani, sir.
Our next panelist is Mr. Suyash Lahoti, Director of Wit and Chai Group. Known for blending creativity with strategic thinking, Mr. Lahoti has built brands and experiences that demonstrate how thoughtful design can drive meaningful business impact. He has led leading award-winning campaigns and built one of India's fastest growing creative and brand strategy networks. He is deeply passionate about storytelling, branding, and strategic communication, helping businesses transform ideas into impactful brands through creativity and innovation. Please join us in welcoming him with a huge round of applause.
Completing our panel, we have Mr. Amin Inamdar, sir, founder and CEO of Zealous Design Solutions. With extensive experience in design strategy and user-centric innovation, he continues to inspire organizations to think beyond aesthetics and create solutions that truly matter. He is a US strategist, product design consultant, a design educator with over 20 years of extensive experience in human-centric design, innovation, and product development. An alumni of the University of Liverpool and recipient of the British Council Education UK Alumni Award, he is deeply passionate about helping organizations create meaningful user experiences through design thinking and strategic innovation. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
Our next distinguished panelist is Ms. Dhun Patel, co-founder and CEO of Therefore Design and Atta Lifestyle. A visionary brand strategist and a Stanford Seed alumni, Ms. Patel has built her career around helping businesses transform ideas into memorable consumer-centric brands. By seamlessly blending design, research, and strategic thinking, she has enabled organizations to create experiences that not only stand out in the market, but also foster lasting customer relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm ride welcome to Ms. Dhun Patel.
Every meaningful conversation deserves an inspiring moderator, and we are privileged to have one with us today. Leading this panel is Professor Suman Devadula, Dean, School of Design, MIT World Peace University, whose work focuses on design-led innovation, sustainability, and design education. With over 13 years of experience across academia and industry, he played a key role in establishing design programs at leading institutions. His contribution to design, research, and education have earned recognitions at both national and international levels. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Suman Devadula with a huge round of applause. I'd now like to request Professor Vinod Shastri sir and Dipali Zavre ma'am to kindly come on stage and felicitate our dignitaries. Can we have a huge round of applause, please?
A huge round of applause, guys.
Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. Design influences every aspect of our life, often in ways we don't even notice. The chair we're sitting on, the apps we use every day, the hospitals we visit, or the city we live in. Behind each of this experience is a thoughtful design.
Today's conversation invites us to look beyond appearances and understand how empathy, innovation, and purpose come together to create experiences that truly make a difference. We create this discussion, and we hope that this discussion will leave all of us with valuable insights and plenty of inspiration. Representing the next generation of innovators and change makers, please welcome our student moderator, Afsana Fatima, a third-year student of MIT World Peace University. A huge round of applause, guys.
Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we invite our moderator and esteemed panelists to begin with this engaging discussion on design beyond aesthetics, shaping human experiences. Over to you, Professor Suman.
Thank you, students, and thank you also for involving. And okay, this one's working. Yeah. So, thank you so much for that introduction, students, and I'm glad Afsana, a student, also is involved inside the panel as a student moderator. So, the broad context, students, is that we are a very young nation, and more than the panelists on the stage here, you are the representatives of it, right? And we also have to think about creating more jobs than seeking jobs. I know it seems strange, but this is how it is, and then we are all here to support you. So, in the broad context, the theme of RIDE 2026 is from understanding the world to changing the world. And unlike the earlier years, the acronym RIDE, D is the third alphabet, but yeah, we are in the second day of RIDE, discussing how design and why design is important in getting to a startup per day as MIT World Peace University envisions. Yes, we are envisioning a startup a day, at least even if it's not a day, but 365 startups by the end of 2030. So we really have wonderful plans for all of you to be supporting you inside this entrepreneurship journey with the support of design. So I am glad all the panelists have accepted our invitation and then are here today. So without further ado, designing beyond aesthetics, shaping human experiences. I want to request the panelists to focus more on the why part of this question rather than answering the what or the how. So, and I'm glad to say all of you are looking at young entrepreneurs and their experiences in this connect will be really, really helpful. So may I start with Dan? Please, over to you, Dan.
It's working? Yeah. So it's a very interesting discussion, right? Why go beyond the aesthetics? And in our experience, we've seen that what you're trying to solve with design is a business problem and a business challenge, right? And why does it need to be solved is the first question that you have to ask. In fact, we go beyond and ask, why now? Why do you want to do this now? Why is it important? Why do you need to kind of solve this? And then what will happen once you solve these problems, right? So essentially asking the why gets you answers that help to kind of shape how you will take the project forward and how you will take a design solution forward. So that's the most critical part of it.
Great. So may I request Ismail to reflect on this question?
Good. So first of all, thank you for getting us here. There was a long-lasting, a decade-old wish that got fulfilled today. So back in 2016, when I was with Symbiosis, Dr. Shastri was also at Symbiosis, and I remember I invited him for a talk with our students. A very small, I don't know, sir, if you remember, a very small auditorium in SIT, around 50-60 students. He was kind enough to come and he addressed the students. And when I was felicitating him something, he said thank you and nice kind words. And I told him, sir, I am a Gujju guy. एक दिन इंटरेस्ट के साथ पूरा वसूल करूँगा. So आज when he was giving me the shawl, I felt okay, मेरा that wish got full. It took me 10 years, but I got it back. And talking about, yes, I knew you will clap on this. That's why I started with that story, right? Because she was giving such important, nice points, nobody responded. So I thought, ठीक है, जैसी audience वैसी भाषा. But when you talk about design beyond aesthetics, again, back to Symbiosis around, I don't know, remember 17, 18, I had the opportunity to listen to Dr. Shashi Tharoor, who had come for one of the events at our Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts. And during his speech, he made a passing comment. He said, you know, we are standing here for the event of Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts. And he said that though we are calling it liberal arts, I don't know why we are calling it liberal arts, because arts by definition is supposed to be liberal. And if it is not liberal, it's not arts. Right? So same way when I look at design and we say design beyond aesthetics or user-centered design, human-centered design, my first impression is that design by definition has to be beyond aesthetics, it has to be user-centered, it has to be human-centered, because if it is not that, then it is decoration, not design. Right? And so that's very fundamental to it. And because a good design, when you create, and I think we had a very nice young anchor over here. What's your name? So somebody who was on the stage, I forgot. Okay, thanks for making my life a little bit miserable, because that Steve Jobs quote was supposed to be my opening sentence. She stole away that, so now I said, okay, then I had to, as a backup plan, I had to go with Shastri Sarkar's story. But design, I think, you know, a good design, when I talk to founders also, it's like salt. It is invisible as long as it is functioning well, but it's painfully visible when it doesn't work well, right? And that's the reason we want to focus on beyond the aesthetics part of it. I was just looking at the cooler over there, the air cooler. If you see, I spent my 2 years of my education in Nagpur. Nagpur in Maharashtra is one of the hottest regions, right? Now that air cooler would easily have costed 12 to 15,000 rupees that you see over there. If you go to Nagpur and even some other hot areas in Maharashtra across the country, there's this concept called desert coolers that is made by local fabricators. They are not branded, no plastic, pura 4 sides a metal ka sheet, they put that khas inside. Look-wise, not at all as fancy as this. But 80% of the people in those areas, you won't find these coolers, you will find those desert coolers, because they do the work. They miss on the aesthetics a little bit, but the cooling part, they do much better than most of these branded coolers. So I think that's the reason we talk about, that design has to, the aesthetics helps, but I think it has to go beyond aesthetics. The core function, again, going back to Steve Jobs' quote, is that it has to do the work. If it's not doing the work, then aesthetic is just a nice show off to it.
Thank you, Ismail. Over to Suyash.
Yeah, now it's on. Yeah, so I think I agree with what Dhun and Ismail said. And one thing is, a good design, as you said, it's not invisible, but a bad design is very much visible, and people understand what a bad design is. And when we, like earlier when I started as an agency also, people used to come and the clients used to come, they were like कि इसको थोड़ा premium बना सकते हैं क्या, can you make it a little more premium? And I would always question कि what do you want people to feel when they see and they look at this design, when they consume this design? And I think that is the why, and that is the question that we need to ask, ki what is the design going to do, what is the behavior that the design is going to change. And I think that solves most of your problem of how the design has to be made and how the design has to be perceived.
Thanks, Shuyash. So something which is very well done and suddenly becomes invisible. Over to you, Amit. Please respond.
Hello. Yeah. Great. I think just to add to this, right, each and everything is designed. And now we are in a stage, or we are at the era where looks are one, aesthetics is one part of it, because each one of you, like most of you are looking down in your phone just now, right? Each of you have an app open. Why are you using only that app for communication? There are more than 10 apps. Why a certain app works? Why a certain type of phone resonates with you? So it goes much beyond the aesthetic part of it. It is the connection, right, that you always build with the product. And now we are moving away from what we call as a finance-driven economy to something called experience-driven economy, right? Now people want to experience things. You guys are not too concerned with, if to pay 100 rupees extra to get a better product. So what does that better mean is what designers define, right? And that definition of better is always going to change depending on the place you are, depending on the situation you are in, depending type of the product that you are designing. So that's why aesthetic does play a role at decision making, but it's at a very visceral level, whereas you go deeper into it in terms of how it behaves, how it reacts, is something that the why answers. And that's why I feel that it needs to go much deeper as a solution going forward.
Thank you.
Can you hear? Is it audible? Yeah. So thank you so much everybody for the clear definition on what design is apart from aesthetics. So we've gotten much more idea on what exactly it is, because we have gotten multiple definitions on what design is, and also we've also gotten a gist on what bad design is, and also the examples that you've given along. So this question to Amit sir. How do you define a good design on something, how it looks and what it truly makes it work for the people? How do you define a good design, sir?
Okay, the first thing I feel, the word good is relative, right? It's something that is good for you may not be good for someone else. So when we say what is a good design, there are a lot of layers that we need to unpeel in first place. That is it contextual? Is it solving a problem? If it is, right? How is it, helping the person in his or her life? So when we define a good design, we don't just look at the product or the service that is there, but the impact it makes. And I think that is the key thing that as a designer, we always are trying to evaluate the impact. It's not just about how many are sold, because even for a lot of products, and I'm sure you guys, most of you guys have bought a lot of products which you thought were interesting, you used it and then chucked it, right? What stayed with you, what design is, right? It may not be you must have heard this, right? This is not the best looking product, but it does the job, right? And that is something which I feel a good design is. On a lighter note, if you ask me a best example of a good design, I love the mosquito racket. Mosquito racket, right? You have those rackets which are used to kill mosquitoes. It's a very simple product. It's a very trivial product, but it's a good design because it solves a problem irrespective of your age, of the situation you are in. If you can, what you can say, you have movement or not, it will do a job. So a good design is something which creates an impact, solves a problem, and is contextual in the environment it is going to be used.
Okay, sir. So do you prefer working of the product than that of the aesthetics, or do you think it goes along?
Yes, it's always that form follows function, or sometimes the function follows form. In some cases, like all of us would agree, like, the equipment which is keeping a school is more function driven than the form driven. So again, I'm going back to why that product is and how and what the context of it is. Because we, as a user, we only see the product, but there's a lot of thought that needs to go behind it to actually understand that, okay, in this case, it needs to do the job well, right? And that is something which becomes important. But of course, whatever is facing the user needs to be pleasing, needs to be adapted to the environment. And that's why sometimes the form will be also important. But if you ask me personally, I am more of function-driven person or a function-driven designer. It should do its job first, and then the second would follow.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the insightful information that you gave us.
Thank you, Afsana. So, my next question is for Dhan. How do you think designers should be able to balance business goals? Because jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. And then we are talking about beyond shaping aesthetics and shaping experiences. So how do you balance it inside your firm, Dhan?
So we're discussing the two as if they were mutually exclusive. They're not. Essentially, if you look at what sells, it's not so much logical choice, it's a more emotional choice. Everybody connects to something because you feel something, the product made you feel something, the product made you think something. So when you're looking at a product, a brand or packaging, what does it make you feel? What is it going to make you experience? That is the question that you have to answer. The aesthetics are a byproduct of that question, and it kind of evolves from that question. So I can't make you look at something ugly and emote to it. It has to have, like Amit said, form follows function. I mean, form follows. Function follows form, sorry. But what emotion does it help you to kind of generate? That is equally important, and that is something that we focus on. And I think the aesthetics are an outcome of that. So I would argue that it's not mutually exclusive, but what you prioritize is what is important.
Thank you so much. Over to Ismail. If you have to think about the role of research inside design and creative work, what would you respond?
And thankfully you're giving me a question on which I can speak the entire day. Right? But to me, I know. I've been on that chair quite often to understand your pain point. Right? But to me, I normally talk research into the context of design and startups is a phase where you find out that you were just about to solve a wrong problem. Right? And that's the core of research to me, that you have to, and we've been working with so many startups at the incubation center and beyond that. And one thing I see, a lot of founders, a lot of early stage innovators, when they come up with something, some idea, and then they go back and say, we have done user research. What they've essentially done is user confirmation, right? It's not research, right? And that's very important role it plays, because as we have been discussing so far, and Amit also mentioned about design being a means to solve certain jobs for the user, right? So unless I understand the user very well and what are the jobs they require, and again, if I go into depth, there are layers to the job. There's a social job, there's an emotional job, there's a functional job. But unless that I have a better understanding of all three layers of this job, right, I may not be able to come up with a solution that the users want. And I read a quote once that a lot of bad design solutions that we get is not because of a wrong solution, it's because you are solving the wrong problem, right? And so normally tell my founders that bad problem, no matter how wonderfully solved, still does not help. Right? So just to give a quick example, I go to a doctor with a headache sometimes, I got a headache, it's just because of some cold and flu, and he gives me very amazing medicine for migraine, right? That doesn't help me. All that I need is a basic Saridon or Crocin on that point, right? So that's what the role research plays.
Thank you so much, Ismail. Actually, your example reminded me of another example, again from the doctor. I mean, nothing demeaning about doctors. So if you go for a problem with itch, the solution is not longer nails. Yeah. It is about removing the cause of itch. So Amit, on the question of why we miss understanding that spending sufficient time on defining the problem or redefining the problem Can you please throw your reflection, particularly when it comes to designing beyond aesthetics and shaping human experiences?
Okay, very interesting, right? Why we need to really define and redefine a problem? Because first, I feel we need to learn to identify the right problem. We are never taught it in school. How many of you have, had an exam where you had the answers given and you had to write the questions, right? We were never trained for it. Even our brain is not trained for it. Our brain is more solution focused. So what skill a designer would actually carry is about honing the skill of not just identifying a problem, but identifying the right problem. And usually it is not in the first go, right? In schools, the first kid always, first who answers the question always is the teacher's pet. Whereas in design, the most well thought problem statement is the teacher's pet, if I can put it in that way, right? It's not about the time, it's about the effort that you take in to identify what you are doing, how you are doing it, or a question in the first place. Is it contextual? Is it required? And as other panel members have said, right, have you spent enough time understanding where there's need of this problem or not, right? Also, where and how it is going to make an impact is something which makes it very, very important to keep on iterating it, so that we are coming to a point where we are able to go deeper into it and understand that, yes, this is the right problem to solve it. And as we say in design, a right problem identified is 70% work done. Because once you have the right problem, then finding an answer is much more easier because our brains are tuned to it. So I think that's the main reason that you shouldn't just stop and be happy with what the initial problem comes in, but go deeper into it to really contextualize it, iterate it, and then validate it, whether this is the problem you should go ahead with.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you for throwing light on something which is non-glamorous. First of all, it's a problem. And then we are talking about identifying it. And then we are talking about defining it and redefining it. As we speak, we have our Honorable Vice Chancellor sitting here, Professor Datta Dange, and he has spoken about problem identification, problem formulation, and reformulating it being very crucial several times. I'm glad we are realizing not just that a problem well identified is half solved, but as Amit put it, a problem well identified is almost 70% solved. Now, if you're thinking that this is not design, it is the design process which is human-centered. So, my next question is to Suyash. Suyash, can you please let us know of any project in which a decision that you have taken, a design decision, has mattered a lot for trust?
Yeah. So, talking about a specific project is something that I am working on right now as well. That is, it's an e-commerce brand. The kind of designs that you see when you go on your Amazons and Flipkarts and Mintras of the world, you choose a product and then you start seeing you haven't bought the product, but you start seeing a lot of ads of the same product on your Metas and Instagrams and everything. So a design problem that we are now trying to solve is the same ad that you see, what impact it brings when you try it with a different color, when you try it with a different font, when you try it with a different design element. And each of these segments, when we try and change that is something that I've been working on for a long time. Each of these things, when I change one element of it, I see a drastically different result of how people react to it. So I think all of these things matter a lot, and that is what brings change in the behavior of the consumers as well. And I feel aesthetics as a whole, we have overabused this generation. Our generation has overabused the word aesthetics, and that is something that is a problem I see, because everyone wants everything to be aesthetic. Aesthetic is not the solution, but what problem are we trying to solve? And if the design is solving that problem, I think that helps a lot.
Thank you, Suyash. Over to Afsana.
Thank you so much, sir. As you told that our generation have overused the word aesthetic, and we also know that the generation that was prior, it had a total different definition for design, and the generation that is going on right now has a total different definition for design. So Ismail sir, I would like to ask, as the Gen Z generation right now, we have a total different technology, we have total different internet things like AI. AI is really scary for us. So everything is taken over by AI. So what do you think is the definition for design? I mean, according to you, as far as your experience is?
Okay, so I would avoid using that gen word. It's been very popular these days. I don't want to get there. And we have a lot of people sitting in the front row who by their age might belong to certain other gender, but I at least definitely know one person sitting over here who by heart belongs to that generation that you're talking about. But when you talk about definition in this generation, so to me, if you see design, the definition has evolved now from designing products and services to designing behaviors, and as Amit was mentioning, designing experiences, right? So my entire PhD research is around culture enterprises and how they construct value for the culture products. And while I've been interacting with so many startups as a part of the case studies, one thing I realized is that in that domain as well, articulating that value, articulating that functionality of the product is very challenging. But if you're able to design around the behavior that the customer is going to adopt when they use your product, or the experience they're going to feel, that is more important. That is something AI cannot copy. So in the world of products, designs, your coding, your user interface, everything is very trivial for AI to copy. But if you're able to build that experience, if you're able to design for that behavior, I think that I'm not sure AI is still at that stage where it can do it. In the future, it might catch up. So currently, my definition would be, we used to say design is a way of solving problems. Now I say design is a way to actually change behaviors and create experiences for people.
So like you're telling, it will take in the future, like maybe in the future the AI might, work out with the experiences as well. So how approximately do you think it will take years for AI to?
Now, the speed at which AI is growing and the kind of very scary stories I keep reading about AI, where AI has taken over. In certain cases, it has bypassed the restriction that the coder had put. I don't want to talk about AI and challenge AI, otherwise 5 years down the line, some AI tool will come for me and say, hey, you said this and I'm proving you wrong. So I'm already a little bit scared of AI. I don't want to make that comment here about how long AI will take.
Thank you so much, sir, for your information.
Thank you, Ismail. So students, I'm aware that the panel which is sitting here is intra-generational. I mean intergenerational also, yes, because Afsana is here. And our generation that Suyash talked about is this generation, this line only. And we definitely see that Afsana is from a different generation. So I'm also aware that the students who are seated here are only one part of the audience, and there's several across the campus watching this relayed. So this is my question to Dan. So Dan, there are several students, girl students, who also take design. So from the perspective of emphasizing on the entire process and not having a separate approach about aesthetics and experience and designing both of them, do you have any message especially for girl students and boy students? I don't want to be sounding misogynistic or mansplaining here, but I definitely want you to cater to aspirations of an underrepresented audience, if I might say.
The gender problem is an interesting perspective. I think what is interesting about the process of design is that, when you look at careers, many careers are traditionally male-oriented or female-oriented. I think design breaks down those boundaries beautifully. So, Professor Suman was just saying that 65% of the students are girls here. And I was saying that that is the proportion that we also have in our office. In fact, the boys get bullied a lot in our office. So, essentially, I think there's a huge breakdown of barriers in the industry, and that's happening across disciplines, but you see it much more in design. From the perspective of a career trajectory, I think what is interesting is that there is a lot of flexibility and openness. I think design evolves with the context really beautifully. The whole aspect of problem solving. As the problems change, the solutions that are required change, and it adapts. Of course, we take our time. As humans, we take our time, but the discipline itself is so flexible and has the potential to adapt with every challenge that you face. That is what excites me about the potential of design in the future, that it will kind of evolve with this evolving context. And no matter what, there's always an opportunity to kind of create a solution and solve a problem.
Thank you, Dun. So, thank you so much for that response about design as a process being very inclusive. Yeah, so as the faculty moderator of this panel discussion on designing beyond aesthetics, it's my honor to be summarizing what we've discussed today in the interest of the students present here and present online. So, we spoke about aesthetics and experiences, and designing for them is not separate thing. They're not separate things. We should take it integratively. Amit mentioned about form follows function. So something which is well designed by nature takes care about the aesthetics also, because it's a significant part of the human experience. And it is just not jo dikhta hai wo bikhta hai. It is beyond that, as Ismail has identified, about how well done research goes a long way in identifying the right problem to solve, rather than just anything and then finding out later that it is not indeed the right thing to be doing. And thanks to Yash to be pointing out to how the small changes, which even appear as nudges on websites, make a huge difference in how emotional experiences of humans matter and then matters to businesses. And thanks Amit also for elaborating on why emphasizing on problem definition and reframing the problem definition as part of the design process is so important for a human-centered approach, not just for aesthetics, experiences, and both of them integratively so. Thank you so much, panel. Thank you for today.
Okay, just to close it up in one sentence that I think most of the people will remember and carry, and sum it up. So aesthetics will lead you to the first date. The user centricity of design will lead you to marriage.
Before we conclude this session, we'd like to capture this moment. May I request all our distinguished panelists to kindly be on stage for the group photograph. A huge round of applause for all our moderators and panelists for giving us such an insightful discussion.
Every conversation like this reminds us that great design isn't merely about creating something beautiful. It's about understanding people, anticipating needs, and designing solutions that truly improve lives. Our sincere thanks to all the esteemed speakers for inspiring us this morning.
May we now request the technical team to kindly play the LTC video.
Today's youth lives in a strange paradox. Surrounded by consumerism, constant comparison, and pressure of social media, they appear confident and successful on the outside, but inside, many because they are never given the space to pause, to turn inward, and to truly understand themselves. It was to heal this inner fracture, to bridge this growing distance, and to reconnect young minds with their true selves, that Dr. Rahul V. Karad envisioned the Life Transformation Center, LTC. This vision is deeply inspired by the life values of his father, Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, and his mother, late Urmila Tai Karad, where education is not merely about building a career, but about shaping character, balance, and human sensitivity. At LTC, 5 carefully designed experiences work together to bring about inner transformation. Time spent with nature and the soil teaches that life is not about haste, but about patience and growing. Sports and fitness reconnect young minds with the energy they had forgotten. Through teamwork and leadership, students move beyond ego and discover the true strength of collaboration. True patriotism reconnects them with their nation, their roots, and their identity. And spirituality introduces them to inner stillness, a rare and powerful gift in today's restless world. As these experiences unfold, quiet transformation begins. Inner conflicts start to settle, the noise within grows softer, thoughts become deeper and more conscious. Students begin to understand themselves, not just from the outside, but from within.
घर पे सब कुछ बेहद आसानी से मिल जाता था, यहाँ पे सब कुछ खुद करना है, तो वो सारे टीचिंग्स के लिए काफ़ी थैंकफुल हूँ मैं, हमें यहाँ पे लाया और ये मौका दिया कि हम सब कुछ नया एक्सपीरियंस कर सकें।
हम लोग हमारे खुद के रूम्स ही डेली बेसिस पे साफ कर रहे थे, वॉशरूम साफ कर रहे थे, and that creates a positive impact on our surroundings as well as on our mindset.
And when the journey comes to an end, there is a new light on their faces, a glow that comes from inner clarity. They no longer look only for a career, they seek direction.
When I did agriculture, I went to the fields and I saw what farmers go through every day just to make grains to our plate. I was really grateful, I was really thankful.
जैसे ही हम लोगों ने फ़ोन सबमिट करे, हम लोगों को पता चला कि डिजिटल लाइफ से बाहर निकल के भी, अपने कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर निकल कर, there are many things to do. हम लोगों ने सोशलाइजिंग की, हम लोगों का जितना पोटेंशियल भी नहीं था, उससे ज़्यादा हम लोगों ने दिया.
They don't just chase jobs, they discover purpose. Their confidence becomes steady, their decisions more grounded, and their professional lives reflect a new sense of balance and strength. In the end, they don't just feel that they have changed, they realize that within them always existed a bright, capable, and courageous self, one that has now finally awakened.
I would additionally request the technical team to kindly play the RIDE 2026 Day 1 recap video.
If design teaches us how to create meaningful solutions, entrepreneurship teaches us how to bring those solutions to the world. Every successful venture begins with a problem that is worth solving, a vision worth believing in, and the courage to take the first step. With that thought, we now transition into our next panel discussion, where we'll explore the journey of turning ideas into ventures that create lasting value for society.
Our next panel discussion revolves around a simple yet powerful idea: building what matters. In a world where trends come and go, true entrepreneurship is about creating lasting value, solving real-world challenges, and building ventures that leave a meaningful impact. Today, we have among us distinguished leaders whose entrepreneurial journeys continue to inspire countless innovators and changemakers.
I'd now like to request our honorable dignitaries to kindly make your way to the stage. Mr. Manish Mathur, Mr. Roland Fernandez, Ms. Sucheta Deshpande, Ms. Swati Shivshankar, Dr. Urvashi Makkar, and Mr. Advay Shinde.
While we wait for the guests to arrive, let us give you a quick introduction of them. Our first panelist on this panel discussion is Mr. Manish Mathur, Assistant General Manager at Bennett University. With extensive experience in fostering innovation, incubation, and entrepreneurial ecosystems, Mr. Mathur has been instrumental in empowering young entrepreneurs and translating ideas into impactful ventures. Mr. Mathur is heading Bennett Hatchery at Bennett University, where he leads entrepreneurship, startup incubation, and industry academia collaboration initiatives. Passionate about venture creation and founder development, he mentors emerging entrepreneurs and works closely with startups to build innovation-led ecosystems that empower the next generation of change makers. He is committed to nurturing sustainable startup ecosystems that bridge the gap between academic research and commercial viability, guiding early-stage founders through the complexities of value creation and venture creation, business modeling, and strategic alignment.
I would now like to request the technical team to kindly play the video of the World Peace Dome.
इक्कीसवीं शताब्दी में मेरी भारत माता विश्व गुरु बनने की काबिलियत रखता है. It will become a विश्व गुरु in the 21st century. उसका छोटा सा उदाहरण, छोटा सा सिंबल यहाँ बन गया है, ऐसा मेरा मानना है.
We have only two options. Either we live together or we perish together. It is in this context, this monument will stand.
We look at this magnificent dome. To me, this is not just the biggest dome in the world. To me, this is the biggest idea, the biggest message to the world.
This country has always propagated one thought, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, my dear friends. I must say that in the entire history after the independence since 1947, this is one of the unique steps towards the contribution of universal humanity. I appeal to the Vice President and Honorable Chief Minister to recognize this World Peace Dome as a structure of national and global importance and support to promote it in such a way that it evolves as one of the prominent tourism destinations of the world.
We should remember and respect like Professor Vishwanath Karat and millions of people like that, and remember the great service they have done. They should be remembered forever. That is also equally important for all of us. This is the message of this.
I'd like to request our honorable dignitaries to kindly make their way to the stage. Mr. Manish Mathur, Mr. Ronald Fernandez, Ms. Suchita Deshpande, Ms. Swati Shivshankar, Ms. Dr. Urvashi Makkar, and Mr. Advay Shinde to kindly make their way to the stage, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we please now have a huge round of applause as the dignitaries make their way to the stage. Our second panelist is Mr. Roland Fernandez, CEO of AIC RNTU Foundation. A passionate advocate for startup development and innovation-led growth, he has consistently worked towards strengthening incubation ecosystems and supporting entrepreneurs through every stage of their journey, where he leads one of Central India's premium startup incubators. As a passionate advocate for startup development and innovation-led growth, he has consistently worked towards strengthening ecosystems through every stage of their journey. He is dedicated to empowering entrepreneurs through incubation, mentorship, funding, and strategic partnerships. He is committed to fostering technology-driven startups and building sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystems across India.
Our next panelist is Ms. Suchita Deshpande, founder and CEO of Suchita Swastham Private Limited. Under her dynamic leadership, the company leverages cutting-edge artificial intelligence and digital innovation to make preventive healthcare and lifestyle medicine significantly more accessible and personalized for individuals. She remains completely dedicated to driving meaningful industry change through a powerful combination of technology, holistic wellness, and purpose-driven innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ms. Suchita Deshpande.
Joining us next is Ms. Swati Shivshankar, a seasoned leader in brand marketing and digital strategy, with extensive experience across retail, FMCG, and emerging businesses. Driven by a passion for storytelling, customer experience, and data-driven marketing, she has led award-winning campaigns that beautifully combine creativity with business impact. Her expertise in shaping consumer perceptions and building meaningful brand experiences continues to inspire organizations and individuals to innovate with purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ms. Swati Shivshankar.
To steer this insightful discussion, we are honored to have with us Dr. Urvashi Makkar, Dean and Professor of Ramcharan School of Leadership, MIT World Peace University. An accomplished academician and an inspiring leader, Dr. Makkar has dedicated her career to nurturing future-ready professionals and visionary leaders. She holds a PhD and an MBA in marketing and has domain expertise in customer relationship management. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Urvashi Makkar with a huge round of applause.
Entrepreneurship is often described as the art of creating something from nothing. But in reality, it is the courage to take risks, the resilience to embrace failures, and then the determination to continue despite the uncertainty that revolves around it. Today's discussion promises to explore not only how successful ventures are built, but why purpose, innovation, and people remain at the heart of every enduring experience and enterprise. We are certain that the experiences that are shared today will encourage each one of us to not only think bigger, but to dream bolder and build what truly matters.
Representing the energy, curiosity, and aspirations of MIT World Peace University's student community, we are delighted to welcome our student moderator, Mr. Advay Shinde, founder and president of Student Club BizTech. Let's cheer them on with a warm round of applause as they take the stage. We would now like to call upon to the stage Professor Datta Dange, Vice Chancellor of MIT World Peace University, and Dr. Vikrant Gaikwad, Dean of Academics, MIT World Peace University, to kindly felicitate the panelists. Please put your hands together as we welcome the panelists.
Let us keep the applause going.
Thank you so much, dear panelists, for gracing the stage with your esteemed presence.
Now, without any further delay, please put your hands together as they begin the discussion on the topic Building What Matters. Over to you, Dr. Urvashi and Advait.
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. So we'll quickly commence with the session.
Hello.
So my first question is for Mr. Manish Mathur. So you reposted a founder's line saying that teams are using ChatGPT in one tab, Claude in another, and calling it AI adoption. So we replace the entire workflow, right? That is what most of the teams are claiming when it comes to AI. So when you've been evaluating a startup pitch today, how do you tell the difference between a team that's actually rebuilt a workflow from scratch around an AI versus the one that's only, bolted a chatbot onto what they were already using? So how do you differentiate between newer innovations in particular startups as compared to using AI or technology as a simple wrapper and calling it innovation? How do you differentiate between that?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. We should first of all embrace AI. We should not say that they are helping only to take the shortcuts. Primarily, if the startup is coming up with a solution which is actually changing life of their target audience. So, a couple of things that we see primarily is whether they use AI or they don't use AI. But are they focusing on the target audience? Are they focusing on bringing the change, solving the problem that they have identified for their target audience? So that's how we go ahead with it. And it's very evident. I mean, if somebody is just trying to present as somebody who is their target audience, it's very evident. So that's how we go for. And we are okay with using AI as a technology.
All right, all right. Yeah, all right. So my next question is for Mr. Ronald Fernandez here, right? So it's about early stage investments and angel investing, right? So early stage investments is one of your top listed skills on LinkedIn. And what's the smallest sign that you look for before you invest in a particular venture? Or let's say writing a check or recommending someone. So what are some telltale signs that would describe an organization that is efficient at what it does or what it claims to do?
Okay, so in early investment, so financial data is not available. So in early investment, we typically see the individual. I mean, entrepreneur is the most important thing in the entire this thing. when we invest in anybody, entrepreneur himself is the most important component in that. So first of all, we see the entrepreneur who is starting the business, the kind of problem they are solving, how big is that problem, and whether they have got some unfair advantage in solving that problem. So like, typically I see people starting tech company but have no knowledge in tech. That's not, you should have a team which has a commercial person in your team, or should have a tech person in your team. You should have some unfair advantage. You should have some knowledge or exposure to that particular domain or field wherever you starting your business. So first is entrepreneur. Second, the kind of problem they are solving and how big is that problem. This is what we see when we are investing at early stage.
Right. So it is mainly focused on scale.
It should have potential to scale.
Right.
As of now, they may be very small or a very initial stage, but the problem should have potential to scale in future. That's what we see. So as I always say, मेरे घर के बाहर की नाली खराब है. That is my problem. If I am solving that problem, nobody is going to pay to me. But if I am solving some problem which is big enough, which is a problem of the entire state or the country or the city, if that kind of problem you are solving and you have right knowledge or skill or exposure to that particular problem to solve that problem, that's what we see in a startup. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Well, Advay, I will take this question forward.
No.
Hello. Yes. So, it has given wonderful start to this session, my dear students. I'm sure you must be connecting with this thought. This particular panel discussion on entrepreneurship surely is going to create certain reflections into your mind. That's what is the belief. And I still remember that hundreds of years ago, Swami Vivekananda once said that every new idea has to go through 3 stages, which is so relevant even today. And the stages are, first of all, the ridicule, and secondly, the opposition, and third, acceptance. And I'm so sure that Mr. Fernandez will agree to this thought that even today, any new idea which is coming up by any entrepreneur, if it is ahead of time, it will definitely face the opposition. So my question on behalf of every young student sitting over here is to Mr. Fernandez, that I'm sure you already have mentored hundreds of students in your journey. So what one teaching or suggestion would you give to them today? Yes, which So, well, my quick question to Mr. Fernandez is based on the thought by Swami Vivekananda that whenever new idea comes up, there is definitely going to be huge opposition. And today we are sitting in front of hundreds of entrepreneurs who have so much of the thoughts going on in their minds for the new ideas. What one suggestion you would give to them which they can fall back upon even after 10 years in their journey, and which comes from your real life examples and experiences?
Hello. Yeah, so as a, basically I would say, there have been solutions which were very ahead of the time. But my opinion is that you should see what is requirement, what is the demand of the market. You should base your problem on that. So if I give you an example, how many of you have heard about Google Glasses? You heard? It came and it went. It was technologically very advanced idea, but perhaps it was very advanced idea. It was, market was perhaps not ready for that idea. So if you want to run so you could be a innovator or you could be an entrepreneur. If you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to solve a problem which is big enough, as I said earlier. So Google perhaps solved that problem which was not existing. So my suggestion to all the youngsters is, do not build something thinking that it could be successful. Go out in the market, study the market, see how many people actually require that, and solve the problem which market requires. Don't solve something which you feel it is good. And I typically see a lot of engineers doing this. How many engineers sitting here, or all management students? So engineers are there, okay, good. So I've typically seen with engineers, they build something and they fall in love with their solution, without thinking whether the market requires this or not. Their solution is required by the market or not. So my suggestion, if you want to build a successful business, is just don't Google, go out in the market, see what is required by the market and build solutions around that. Then only you can make a successful business out of your problem. So not just which is something which you are good in, just study what market also require. That is really important to build around.
So thank you very much for your insights. Of course, I remember that when 2008 Airbnb was launched, it was ridiculed, of course. The idea of having a stranger sharing a bed in your home was ridiculed in the market, and today it is $1 billion company, Airbnb, having the presence in 147 countries all across the world. So I'm sure that our students are going to have a lot of intakes, inputs from these guidelines. So going further with the similar dilemma which they might also be facing, I'm going to Ms. Sucheta Deshpande ji, and I'm sure with her lineup of the experiences which she is having, I would like to ask one question, that purpose-driven entrepreneurship. Obviously, we are talking about what matters. It's really important to be understood by the stakeholders and, of course, by the entrepreneurs. So purpose-driven entrepreneurship often face moments when they must choose between the rapid growth and staying true to their mission. Sometimes this dilemma comes, that what is the growth versus the truthful journey. So have you ever encountered such a dilemma, and how did you make the decision to go ahead during those dilemmas?
Okay, great question. Thank you, Urvashi ma'am. First of all, very good afternoon, everyone. And it's wonderful to be here at MIT once again. As much as I share my experiences here, I always get to learn from the students, bright students from MIT all the time. So thank you. So it's a great question, Urvashi ma'am. Of course, when I started entrepreneurship doesn't start with an idea. It starts with a problem. And you know, when I found out a problem after surveying thousands of people, that problem never left me. It stayed in my mind, and that became my purpose. So as she asked, you have to have a purpose. You know, of course, to start a business, to run a business, funding is required, technology is required. We are into technology business, and of course, funding is required. But unless you have a purpose, unless you have a belief in what problem you are solving, even if you are able to touch one soul in the entire crowd, you know, your purpose is fulfilled. So that's why having a purpose is really, really important. While building something, many times you feel that, no, this is it. I'm not going to do it anymore, or this is the challenge which I can't solve. But I guess being a national Kho-Kho player myself, you know, sports has taught me so many things, you know, resilience, endurance, having failures, you know, fail 100 times, but then you know how to get up and overcome those challenges. So that's the experience I would like to share with all the students, and just keep going, be ready for the failures, be ready for the challenges, and I guess you will get there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to Advai. You would
Yes,
like to ask next question?
All right. So I had a few trailing questions as well on am I audible? Yeah. So you went from being a CEO at Ethos to the founder of Swastham, right? So what were some challenges that you faced while going from a pretty high position to a founder, right? Where you have to basically start from scratch, right? Where you have to figure out a lot of way on your way there. So what were some challenges that taught you the most going from a CEO to a new founder?
Again, what's your good name?
Advai.
Advait. So it's a great question again. So instead of challenges, I would call it a learning journey, because the entire life, I feel it's a learning journey. So when we started our previous company, I performed each and every, I started with giving a glass of water to people. Then I shifted to HR, administration, then marketing, making a brand of our company, then sales, customer success. So I guess every role in that company was preparing me to be a founder for the next one. And it's not easy, but taking that experience, overall experience for last 13 years in previous company, it taught me a lot, because when you become a founder, one day you are a CEO, one day you are administrator, one day you could be a sweeper also. So you have to be ready for all kinds of work. You have to be ready for finance, marketing, customer success and whatnot. So you have to have that learning urge in you. And I guess that's the journey that you will have to go through, and it's amazing that what you get after that journey. So I'm just happy with whatever I'm getting to learn, and it will continue as I learn many things.
Thank you, thank you. It's really insightful, and it's very rightly said that the future is not created in future. And if we have to create future, undoubtedly we have to start working today. And definitely when we go back to the journeys of the big conglomerates today, the startups which have become you can say household names. Today if we talk about Tesla with such a pride, one of the most influential automobile company, when it came up with the concept of electric vehicle, no one believed them. They ridiculed the idea, of course. And today, every single automobile company definitely is coming up with the huge investment in the electrical vehicle category. So I'm sure that you have connected with the thought, Ms. Sucheta ji. Thank you very much. I would be coming to Ms. Swati Shivashankar, and with her experience in the marketing domain and having a huge startup experience with her at such a young age. I'm sure that you are the one who have witnessed the artificial intelligence, how it has changed the startup ecosystem very recently. So I have 3 sub-questions, and I'm sure my students will be echoing with those questions. So it is on behalf of them, that how you have assimilated artificial intelligence currently in your startup ecosystem, 1. And then secondly, looking ahead the next 5 years, of course 5 years is a very long time, but still I'm taking the leverage of 5 years. What opportunities should young entrepreneurs embrace? What are the opportunities, and what common mistakes they should consciously avoid to be successful? So 3 subdivisions of questions. We really want to hear your experiences, first of all, how you have embraced artificial intelligence in your startup ecosystem. So over to you, please.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely being here amongst all students, and I'm sure I'm also going to learn a lot more once I leave this space today. Just taking each of your question one by one, talking about artificial intelligence as to how we have embraced it or how we use it in our startup ecosystem. Definitely in multiple ways. One is, coming in the whole space of marketing, in the whole space of creative, brand building, etc. I think if I was thinking about running a marketing team, say, 4 years, before, it wouldn't be possible without having a designer, a video editor, having those desktops with those specific softwares, etc., etc., and your marketing team wouldn't function without having those people physically there. But today, I think with the entire AI coming in space, the whole speed, the whole, the need to not have a specific designer or a video editor to actually do the job has completely kind of enabled even an intern or even someone like me to kind of, be hands-on in terms of keeping your social media, keeping your brand marketing, etc., very, very up to date, at a certain speed. And that is something that we have really sort of used it extensively in terms of, ensuring that the creatives, the entire video editing and everything kind of is done through AI. Whether we are using either Google Flow for that, Seed Dance, multiple other AI tools, which kind of gives us that, immediate result. Whether you are shooting half an hour back and, within half an hour, you have the video ready to be posted. So these are things. Apart from that, we recently kind of started using Emergent, where we are making a retail app for the retailers, because we are present across 1,000+ stores in Mumbai, right? We are creating a retailer app for the salesmen through Emergent, wherein you have all the data at one place, even when the salesman is going to the store, visiting various stores with GPS tracking, etc. So all of that is at, at your fingertips, wherein even if I am back at, office, I have tracking of what's happening on field. So even creating an app like this through Emergent has been very, very possible, because if I was again looking at this, a few years back, creating an app was like a 90-day route, roadmap that you would have. Like you will have an entire app team, a development team who will come back and tell you, ये phase manner में ऐसे होगा and all of it, and इसको testing करने में 3 हफ्ते जाएंगे and things like that. And that's completely sort of erased now. And someone like you and I can actually be sitting and making an app and kind of making it functional within few days. I think that's the speed at which AI has enabled startup to kind of, do things and learn quickly and, execute. Because I think startup is equal to execution, and I think AI has enabled us to do that in a great way. On your second question, which was, I'm sorry.
The question is that in the coming next 5 years, what opportunities should young entrepreneurs try to grab quickly? They should embrace those opportunities. And of course, what common mistakes they should try to avoid?
I think from an opportunity point of view, what entrepreneurs in the next 5 years should grab is, I think it is all about, grabbing opportunity in terms of if someone has already started their entrepreneur journey today. I think next 5 years, it's all about saying that how do you want to scale in probably newer markets, in newer subcategories and things like that. And the journey for that has to begin way in advance, right? One of the things in terms of the entire startup journey is, of course, you initial 1 year or 2 years, you end up ensuring that the market you have started working in, you kind of create a success story there, and then you identify different markets to see that if your particular product resonates or the customer there identifies with a similar problem to be solved. And how do you open new markets for your particular, product or your particular sort of brand in other markets is something that as an opportunity that I would expect entrepreneurs to kind of look at, right? And apart from that, the whole space of saying that how do you kind of, also build different allied categories across the first category that you have gotten into. If you have gotten into, say, beauty and personal care, what are the different kind of allied categories that can be suitable for your space, and in the next 5 years, how do you kind of approach that and make, kind of become a part of that ecosystem as well. So those are the things. And of course, apart from that, opportunities like you mentioned, I think AI is here to stay. But again, talent still becomes a very, very important part, because things like culture, empathy, right judgment, all of these cannot be replaced by AI, right? So the opportunity of always keeping your eyes and ears open to the right talent is something that's critical, whether it's a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old company.
So well, that's really great to understand, and of course, we can see, Swati, that if we think about the examples like Zerodha, when it was launched in 2010 in our country, no one really believed into the idea that an open investment portal can be so hugely successful, and a democratic public investment platform can become today a billion-dollar platform. And when the idea came up, no one really realized that future lies in this. So I'm sure that you're very right, that despite the factor that there can be hundreds of opportunities, nothing can substitute empathy, the right judgment, the right decision making, and of course the young mind have to have the eye on those. So thank you very much for these ideas. I will be coming lastly to Mr. Manish for once, that and after that Advay, you will be over to Ms. Swati once again. That I'm really interested to know, again on behalf of my students, that entrepreneurship is often a lonely journey. We say that you are lonely at the top. So could you share one personal setback that became a turning point in your entrepreneurial career, and the leadership lesson, what it taught to you during that setback?
Okay, so that's very interesting question. Why? Because we all go through different situations, different opportunities come to us, and it may not be personal, but when we work with startups, we very involved with the startups. That's where we, as entrepreneur mentors and enablers, are asked to refrain. Yes, in initial days, you would say, yeah, I am audible. So one lesson which all the students can learn from the entrepreneurial journey. So one of the startup I mentored long back was from Delhi Technological University, D.E.26, and the team members from DU. So fantastic team. And we all were working very hard on the startup. I was mentoring them right from scratch to a level wherein they just completed their graduation, left high-paying jobs. I mean, they didn't accepted the offers and started working on the startup idea. Working for students like sitting here, that what they should do after their graduation. Now it's a failure story for the startup, but learning from me, learning for all the students sitting here. While they were passionate, they offered the services to the students. It was very well accepted, and it was going fantastic. Till that time, it was free. And the day they launched the startup fully with, looking for payments for the services they were offering, they faced failure. Nobody was willing to pay for advice and pay for the advice which they thought was free. I mean, what to do after your graduation? You expect your peers, your घर में कोई बड़े हो भैया and all those to guide you, and that's what the platform was seen. So one learning which I would say for every student sitting here, if at all you try to do a startup, find as soon as possible your paying client. Your product should be a problem-solving product that should solve the problem, but at the same time the customer should be willing to pay for it. So that was one of the biggest learning in my entrepreneurial journey, which I wanted to share with the students.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always inspiring to learn from the setbacks and the failures. So Advay, the last question from Ms. Swati from your side,
yes.
please.
Yes. So, ma'am, my question is that, my question is about building Big Bazaar, right, as a marketing venture. So essentially you've run campaigns such as Smart Search and hashtag Decide Your Price and Big Bazaar ke sabse saste 5 din, right? So my question is, how do you convince a brand like Big Bazaar, which is largely a retail brand, to go online? How do you convince them to take online marketing and online branding seriously when they've built their reputation for being there as a retail brand, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one. So this was way back in 2017, where we were one of the first, founding members of the digital team in Big Bazaar. So we had our meeting with Mr. Kishore Piani, and he said, ठीक है आप लोग आके यहाँ पे एक digital team बना दो and चालू करो. So of course, because of his, vision, or, he's open to kind of trying new things. But yes, like you said, it has been primarily, a very offline-driven, print-driven, ad-driven, TV advertisement-driven, marketing retail. So when we started off, we of course wanted to ensure that, see, the physical 200 plus stores are not going anywhere. And obviously, tabhi ke time pe, it was not about saying ke tum www.bigbazaar.com chalu kar do. That was not the idea, because you wanted people to go shop. That experience of shopping offline was the key of what Big Bazaar stood for, right? But when we started digital back then, our entire endeavor was, how do you engage customers on digital space? Because that was the advent of Facebook, not even Instagram per se. Instagram was just very, very, initial stages. Facebook was the primary, networking platform back then. And our whole challenge was, how do you engage customers online on, Google and Facebook, etc. And how do you drive footfalls to the stores? So every campaign or every, thought we kind of looked at was from that lens. So how do you do that, right? People are looking for you on Google, searching the nearest store, searching for offers, etc. And then apart from that, Big Bazaar had also started FBB, which is the fashion segment and the fashion category. So there were younger, customers also who started kind of visiting stores. But our entire thing was, how do you create incrementality in terms of spending more, in terms of getting newer customers, in terms of getting younger customers? And that is where all our campaigns had that one core, underlying objective. So when you talk about smart search was a very intuitive thing. People look for things on Google search, best onion price today, or for example, offer on mixer grinder and so on. On the 1st of every month, anyone who searches Big Bazaar, pressure cooker offer or Big Bazaar iron offer, they would get a coupon on the Google search, in which they had to just plug in their mobile number, and they would automatically get an SMS with a coupon code, which is redeemable in store over the weekend just for 2 days. So what this does is, you make the offer finite. You make the entire experience of saying that, you make the customer feel they are smart. Why? Because I earned an offer. Vis-a-vis you giving an offer to me, I don't find it as precious, while I am earning an offer and I find that precious because I earned it. And then you go redeem it, you have a different kind of, joy of kind of, using that coupon. So that's how you kind of made the first 10 days of the month relevant, because that is where, people go shop, and that becomes an entire, monthly shopping thing, and where you are adding incrementality in terms of increasing the basket size, in terms of also getting newer customers. In fact, with this particular campaign, which happened month on month for, almost 24 months, we saw that almost 36% were newer customers. And because Big Bazaar was so rich in data, there was an entire war room which had only data people actually mining and understanding what is the repeat rate, who are the customers who are coming regularly, how often, so on and so forth. So the whole, and because we had coupon mechanism which actually told you whether this person is a first time buyer or he's a repeat buyer. Even with repeat buyer, what happens is, you are increasing the frequency, you are increasing the basket value, even if they are a regular customer. So these are ways in which we ensure that, how we use digital to make it relevant even in an offline world. And today the same thing applies when you go online. You are visiting a website, you are again putting a coupon code there. All we did was we replicated that in an offline space wherein you had to do it at a point of sale in that sense. So, and another interesting one that you spoke of was doing a 24 hours Facebook Live, right? Again, this was an innovation to make the entire Sabse Saste 5 Din very relevant. It was happening year on year, year on year, year on year. And it was about time you brought in freshness, you made the brand relevant, young and so on. So that is where getting all the TV actors, celebs, creating like a 24-hour format which was running live. We had an association with Facebook, right? And in an entire studio setup, and every hour you were kind of giving out coupons. You had to SMS a particular code and you would get a coupon, and which was relevant just for those 5 days. So all of these things ultimately kind of added the experience of bringing online customer offline, and and building that experience largely of the brand owning the space of the entire digital ecosystem, yet making it relevant to the offline customers. So I hope I answered that.
Yes, great experience, Swati, and of course this really calls for an applaud. Such a kind of experience which I am very sure, my dear students, is a masterclass in marketing, how to market and brand and position a product. So great, thank you, Swati. So before we end the session, we have the last 5 minutes. I'm coming up with the rapid fire questions with all of you, but I would appreciate only one word answer, or at the most a phrase answer. So the incubation centers nowadays are receiving thousands of startup ideas. And if you are going to fund an idea, what is the top quality you are looking in that idea? Only one word answer. I'm sure the students who are sitting here, they need to learn and listen carefully. If you have to get your idea funded, the experts are going to talk about it. So we would appreciate in this rapid fire round to give us one word answer, the top quality for that project, which will convince you that you are going to fund that idea.
So customer centric, I would say.
Any sector, it is irrespective of sector we are talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
I said the customer centric, it has to be centric.
Great.
I would say solving a real problem. That would be the...
Yes.
I think scalability.
Great. Yes.
So I would say all of these. This is what I wanted to say, but it's a scalability, innovation. So everything is covered. So all of these, yeah.
So great. Of course, the customer centricity, scalability, and solving a particular problem. These are 3 top qualities needed for getting your idea to be funded, my dear students. Mark these words. So I'm coming to the second very quick question, and of course your answers. That if you had one piece of advice for the young entrepreneur sitting on this side, that what they should start doing from tomorrow to become a successful entrepreneur. One piece of advice. Let's start from Mr. Manish.
Yeah, so I would say something which Dr. Vinod Shastri always says, just start.
Just start. Great.
Yes, don't wait, nothing, there is no perfect time. Just start, follow your heart, have a purpose, be humble, and have a humility.
Thank you.
I would say learn to accept failures.
Hello, yeah. I would say become a problem solver. So whenever you go out, look for problems and try to become a problem solver.
Thank you. And now coming the last question. This is important for everyone sitting here. We sometimes into the academic corridors miss out on the larger picture. And of course, we are very proud of teaching entrepreneurship at MIT World Peace University. So one top topic which comes to your mind must be taught into the classes of entrepreneurship. Only one topic. Quick, please.
Yeah. So art of selling. Art of selling.
Art of sales. Great.
being a nice human. That is the biggest quality that you need to have. I think.
Yes, Swati, from your side.
I think I would say, I don't know how to put it, but personality building, but more from a very mental strength point of view. Like a personality course, but very, very specific from an entrepreneur journey point of view, which has its various, which needs a different kind of, strength and ability.
Yeah, so Manish has already covered. I would say revenue model is something which we should teach students, which is very important for any sustainable business. A revenue model, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. These are great inputs for all of us, and I'm sure that when I conclude this session, it's really important for our students to really draw the line. And of course, each one of you who's sitting here, anyone should understand that the difference between being ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. And I'm sure that if every one of them will try to add up that extra to their journey of entrepreneurship, no one can stop you. And my dear students, I take the privilege on behalf of all of you, on behalf of Dr. Vinod Shastri sir, our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, to thank the panelists sitting on the dais and for their interpretations, inferences, and the reflections on the entrepreneurship journey which they have shared with our students. And I'm sure our students are going equally inspired and motivated after this session to start their journey now, today, without having to wait for plunging into the market, because I'm sure, my dear students, you are sitting at the safest place where even if you fall back, even if you fail, you have the mentors around you. So don't wait for your entrepreneur journey to get started later on. Today is the right time. The future is not created in future, it has to be created right now. So with this message, once again, thanks to all the panelists. Thank you very much to Advay, the young one who is sitting with us. And thanks to the whole coordinating team for bringing up this relevant topic on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you for such an inspiring and thought-provoking discussion. I'm sure everyone present here would agree that entrepreneurship is not merely about creating businesses. It's about creating impact, empowering communities, and shaping the future. Let us have another huge round of applause for our moderators and distinguished panelists. A huge round of applause, guys.
Once again, thank you to all the panelists for gracing the stage with your presence. As we arrive at the final chapter of today's journey, it's time to pause, reflect, and acknowledge many individuals whose presence and contribution made this day truly meaningful. Every conversation heard today, every perspective shared, and every idea exchanged has added another layer to the spirit of RIDE, a spirit that celebrates curiosity, collaboration, and the courage to innovate.
Before we conclude today's session, we would like to capture this memorable occasion. So I would like to formally express our gratitude and bring today's proceedings to a close. We now invite Rishabh Muchal, the student mentor of RIDE 2026, to deliver the vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with a warm round of applause, Rishabh Muchal.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we conclude day 2 of RIDE, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude towards Vishwadharmi Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir for continuously supporting and encouraging generations of innovators and entrepreneurs. I would also like to extend a sincere, heartfelt gratitude towards Dr. Rahul V. Karat sir for constantly supporting and fostering an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship. I would also like to give our heartfelt appreciation towards our convener, Dr. Vinod Shastri sir, for his exceptional guidance throughout RIDE 2026. I would also like to thank Dr. Deepak Prashar sir and Dr. Dipali Zavai ma'am, our co-conveners of RIDE 2026, for their constant support. We extend an appreciation towards Honorable VC sir, CEO sir, Registrar sir, all our deans, associate deans, program directors, and especially all our faculties and SPOCs. We would also like to extend a heartfelt thank you note towards our IT team and the entire team of Pankaj Shirbate sir for seamless technical execution. We would also like to thank the entire media department and Deepak Khedkar sir's team for constantly capturing all of the moments of RIDE 2026. Finally, a heartfelt thank you to all of our staff members, volunteers, and especially all of you participants for making RIDE a great success. As we conclude today's session, I would like to request all of you participants to proceed for lunch after this and report back to your classrooms by 1:30. And it is very essential that you come on time so that we can conclude the sessions on time. Thank you so much, and thank you for being a part of RIDE 26.
I request everybody to stand up in your places for the national anthem.
Nobody, please don't leave. We'll stand up for the national anthem. Designers, entrepreneurs, and leaders of tomorrow are already amongst us.
On behalf of MIT World Peace University, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for being a part of RIDE 2026. Thank you for your enthusiastic participation, your energy, and your passion for learning. Until we meet again, we are your host, Prisha.
And I'm Suesh. And in case you don't see us, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you.